All right. So what are we doing?
We are doing the next round of hypotheses. So hold on one second, let me pull this up.
All right. Let me share the screen. Boom. Oh, right. It's all coming back to me. You already recoded, and yeah, we already. Oh, that's right. We checked. Oh,
Yeah,
I made the video for you. Remember that?
Yeah, the one where we did the moderator video.
So it is. So profession is a moderator.
Yeah.
And thank you for that, because that has always been my weak spot. It's just that if I do it a couple of times, it all comes back to me. So yes, it is definitely. It's only that, only in multiple regression, and it's only with the categorical variable that's got two categories. That's the only thing that throws me off. If it's got more than two categories, it's fine. So it's just the double thing. Because SPSS, I believe, has a built-in, some kind of, it detects, it knows your dummy coding, and it just leaves it off.
Yeah.
So, all right, hit me.
Okay, you have a copy of my hypotheses on your end.
I do.
So, I mean, I can read them off, but it might be easy for you to see them.
You're going to be my co-pilot here. Make sure I'm on a straight and narrow because I can't remember anything.
It's all good. Christine, fall 2020.
There you are. Thank you. Oop, nope, not that one. Dang. What the hell? What the hell? Hold on. I think my computer's starting to act funky.
Is that your computer, the noise? Oh, no, I just meant like, I hope your computer's not breaking. You could leave that on.
No, it's not doing anything good. It's just blowing hot air all over the goddamn place. This ain't you. This ain't you. This ain't you. That's not you. That's not you. You. Dissertation. Okay, that's you.
Yes.
All right.
That is me. So down to the hypothesis, because I think the research questions answer the hypotheses. So.
Yeah. Oh my. We wrote them up. Damn, we're good, man. All right. Split file function. We split the file. Did we split the file?
Yeah, we split the file and then we did the I saw my blank. The dummy coding. I think. Well, that was when you said that you couldn't figure out the dummy coding, and then we ended on that note, and then you sent me videos. So.
Right. It is a moderator. So where are we going? Number 3?
So the dummy coding was just to figure out if it was a moderator, or I'm confused by that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So here, let me just try to walk you through there real quick.
Okay.
So profession is the moderator, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. And we're looking for the relationship between FOD and POS. Yes. So I would do and I'm just going by automatic pilot here.
Okay.
First thing you do is you stick in the DV.
Because I think that originally the IV was supposed to be profession, the FODD was supposed to be the moderator, and then POS was supposed to be the dependent variable.
Don't work that way. No, sorry.
That's not how it works.
Sorry, don't work that way. No. So now you could do a t-test or something, right, to see if the different professions have a significant difference in FOD and suicide.
Mm-hmm.
I think we already did that, and it showed there was a significant difference somewhere, wasn't there?
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
So I think we ran a t-test to see if there's a significant difference in fear of death and the POS scores based on whether they're mental or medical.
I think that's for hypothesis 2. I don't think we did a t-test for that, because that was supposed to be the start of the hierarchical regression, or just the regression in general. Because we did a t-test for profession and PAS, and then we also did a t-test for profession and FODD. But then number 2 was the more supportive a profession is for PAWS, the higher their FODD levels will be.
Yeah. Now, the way you want to go, if you want to do FOD, it could be what we call a covariate,
Okay.
right? So you would like run a little mini ANOVA, but it's really a t-test, but then you add FOD as a covariate to see if it's covariate.
I don't know. I'm so confused because this is what I was telling you, and you, it's like they want me to do some type of regression for hypothesis number 2. They want, because the profession is the IV, the FODD is the, or the PAS is the DV, and then FOD would be the moderator.
All right, who's telling you to do that?
Various committee members.
They're wrong.
I know.
Plain and simple. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but here, let me. I'm going to take over the picture here. Yeah, I know, and it's probably driving you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But you have them talk to me directly. Okay, I'll straighten them out. I mean, it's unfortunately, but most of our faculty don't know enough about stats to calculate their way out of a wet paper bag. You know? Some do, right? Some are experts at it. But,
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's been my experience that most don't. So if you're talking about a moderator,
Mm-hmm.
so you got a predictor variable, and you got an output variable or a criterion variable or whatever you want to call it, right? You got an IV and you got a DV. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how we draw, right? This is the direct effect, right? This is the direct correlation between the two. And if you think there's a moderator up here, a moderator will affect the relationship between the IV and the DV.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Okay. That is a moderator model.
Mm-hmm.
So what these guys are telling you are this. Oh, damn it. Come on. Don't lose my voice. They're telling you to do this. They're doing a nominal variable. Okay, right there, right off the bat. That's either a t-test or an ANOVA.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be, you could check it in a, me. It could be act as a moderator in a multiple regression model. Okay.
Okay.
So if this is what they're asking you to do, DV. Okay. You could have a correlation here, but it's a point by serial correlation. And I know nobody on earth is talking about that because they suck. So, and then they're saying that FOD would be a moderator here. I think I know what they mean, but they're using the wrong terminology, right? A moderator is only used in a regression model.
Mm-hmm.
Covariate, on the other hand, is only used in an ANOVA model.
Okay.
So here, let's go back. We'll answer it every way we can think of, and then that should make them happy, okay?
Okay.
So what is your number 3?
Well,
I'm going to have a good cough here. Oh, I'm back. Okay.
It's technically number 2. It's the more supportive a profession is for PAWS, the higher their FODD levels will be.
So number 2, here we go. The higher the FOS levels, the more supportive the profession will be.
For PAWS, yeah.
What?
What?
The more supportive the profession will be. All right, my spidey senses are going off.
Wait, why?
The more supportive the profession will be.
For PAWS.
The more supportive, I'm just thinking out loud here.
Okay, go for it.
The more supportive a profession. So let's pick a profession. Let's pick the medical guys.
Mm-hmm.
So what they're saying is the higher the FOD levels,
Mm-hmm.
the more supportive the medical will be for PAS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then if we switch to mental, the higher the FOD, the more supportive mental will be for pause. Can you feel
Yeah.
my confusion there? And there's something not right there.
Like you can't actually measure that. Is it basically just whoever's higher should actually technically be more supportive?
You would think so. That would be answered with a t-test, right?
Because this is the problem too, is they will completely reject all of this if it's just t-tests. It's
Would
not
you
just
like me to come in and talk to them for you? I will. I've done it
I'm
before.
just nervous because they will say that that's too simple for a dissertation.
T-tests are too simple for a dissertation.
Exactly. That's why I don't know what to do.
Don't worry. Okay. I got you covered. I don't want you to get yelled at. Okay. Now, what did we do here? We did a simple regression, showed there was significant prediction with FOD and effects. And since there was only one predictive variable, none of the assumptions were violated. Okay. Split file function was used to see if there's a significance, and there was. Right. But I'm not seeing the output here. Hold on a second. So here, let's just keep going like that. I'll split the file, and we'll show them the relationship between FOD and pause for the mental, FOD and pause for the medical. And then we'll hit them with, this is a moderator between the two. That should make them happy.
Okay.
And if it doesn't, let me know.
Okay.
All right, so we split a file using the function. Okay, let's get rid of all this crap. Oh, that's right. You're not from the San Diego campus, are you?
San Francisco.
Good. So I don't know any of them teachers up there anyway. There are some good ones. I know there are, but I'm not going to worry about them.
They're not great.
This is being recorded. What's wrong with you? Okay, here we go. So you tell me when you're done with those videos, because I take them right off of YouTube. I tried to send them to you as a.
Yeah.
Hi, Reg.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good.
You got another person coming in?
Yeah, 4.
At
You
4.
want me to go back in the breakout room?
No, why don't I make you the host, and why don't you put us in a breakout room? Because when I'm done with Christine, I'm gonna go jump in the kids' pool.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna make her the hostess with the mostest.
Okay.
Rachel is the host. Okay, your hostness bounces.
Okay. All right. I sent you guys breakout room 1.
Thank you. So we're still recording, okay?
Are we? Okay, cool.
It says it right there. It's still recording. So.
Perfect.
All right, so let me do this again. And we'll get you through this, okay? I don't want you to freak out or nothing on me. I found out yesterday that I was one of the students I've been working with for over a year on her dissertation. She died.
What?
She died of leukemia.
Oh my God.
28 years old.
At San Diego.
Yeah, down here in San Diego.
Jesus.
Yeah, so don't die, god dang it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like the 5th one in 20 years. It just really tears my heart out.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, so live every day like it was your last one. Okay, here we go. We're going to do some split files, man. We're going to do the split file, compare to means, and we're going to go by profession. I had to change the name to less than 8 letters because we're also going to run it in the new Hayes process. We're going to write it up for them.
Okay. Yeah, you got that.
We're gonna drown them with data, right? And they could just pick the ones they want.
Okay.
All right, now we're gonna run a correlation, actually a simple regression between FOD is the DV, POS is the IV, statistics, and we don't need a lot of that stuff, right? I mean,
Wait, did you say POS was the IV?
no, POS was the DV.
Okay, sorry. Go on.
Focus.
I was so confused why you said that.
You got air conditioning? Is it hot out there, man? It's like 100 degrees now.
No, I'm just tired.
It's freaking killing us. Okay, this is what we want to put in there. Copy. I don't doubt it. You work too hard. All right, so split file. Here it is. Boom. Bit table. All right, let's try to clean this up a little bit so people can actually read it. Click. Can we stretch that out a little bit? Come on, stretch. There it is. Okay. So there's the mental. For the mental guys, it is not. I just write as I go here. Okay, according to the output. The relationship between and EAS is significant for the medical. So what is it? Medical? Oh, medical profession only. Profession. All right, then we do this. We do. We just do the p-value. P-value is less than 0.01, but not for the P equals come on, spell check. Come on, you. Spell check. Which, okay, so which indicates that profession is a moderator between FOD and the Hayes process. Wait, number 3.5, I believe. Double check to verify if profession was indeed. You can change this any way you want to. Okay, now we're going to do mod.
So I have a question.
Ma'am.
So the profession's an IV, right? How, like, because when writing this, and I know this is what you said, like it's impossible, but would I have to change like everything since profession is technically a moderator? Because originally it was the IV, like the fear of death and dying was supposed to be like the relationship connector, right? The mediator moderator. And then the physician assisted suicide was supposed to be the DV. But now we're finding that profession is actually a moderator.
Okay, it can be
Like, do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I do completely. It just depends on what test you're running, right? So
Yeah.
any variable can be an IV, a DV, or a moderator. It doesn't matter. It just depends on a test. So for like a t-test, because it's a grouping variable, that would be the IV. But
Mhm.
what we're doing here, it's acting as a moderator, which just means it affects the relationship between two other variables, which it does.
Mhm.
And it could be a DV if you want to go through a logistic regression model, but you don't want to do that.
Because yeah, it just is like how my train of thought is going. Like when I'm writing this dissertation, it's not that profession affects FODD and PAS. It's technically like because my first research project literally was just on like professionals in these two groups like have vastly different opinions on PAS, and then the dissertation is introducing like the theory of fear of death and dying, and like so it's kind of like there's the professionals, right, and they're two groups. And then there's like a Likert scale, physician assisted dying, and like how they relate to it, if they like it or not. And so that's why I kind of wanted to put like, does the fear of death and dying actually affect this already relationship?
Okay, that's what we're going to do next. So after I do this one through the Hayes process, then we're
Mhm.
going to run a little baby ANOVA to see if FOD will act as a covariate. A covariate would affect or not both groups the same way when it comes to the past.
So what would be, I guess, the purpose of putting that the profession acts as a moderator in my dissertation that you know of?
Because you're supposed to identify any moderator that you possibly.
Oh, you are?
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
I did not know that. Okay. So like if I'm wording it in the dissertation, just state like through a series of like, I don't know, like bleh stats, we found that this acted as a moderator actually.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're going to put that right in there, right? Because as a researcher, it is your duty to identify any variable that could be affecting the relationship, anything, because it strengthens your model, right? So you're always on the lookout for covariates, moderators, mediators, something like that. It builds your power and it increases your effect size, and it explains what the heck's going on. So here, let me do this. This only take about a minute here. To verify if profession was indeed a moderator between two variables. Okay, now watch this. Watch this. Go to analyze regression. There's the one I couldn't find. I had to re-upload it right there. Bam.
Mm-hmm.
So our DV was POS.
Mm-hmm.
Our IV was fear of death. And we're on number one. That means moderator. And our moderator is going to be profession.
Just to clarify though, that's like in my writing, that's not what I said, that the IVs and DVs are. Are you just doing this to kind of like prove a point?
No, what you can do is, it doesn't have to be, so what you're doing here, you don't have to put under your hypotheses.
Mm-hmm.
You could put it in, you know what, you were a little bit curious, so you ran these tests and you found this, this, and this, and this.
Got it.
So
okay.
it's, with
this would be like later analyses into the discussion, like since
correct,
these people found. Okay, got it.
Exactly, and your professor should back off on you if they see you've done all this extra stuff. They should, but I don't.
Won't. Oh my god, no. They'll be like, "Why'd you do this? What relevance?" And I'll just start crying.
No, you just tell them you talk. Just tell them that I did it. That I was working with you, and I said, no, this is the way to go. And if it's not Dr. Miles, it's not Dr. Miles, is it? He knows this. He knows his stuff.
It's not Dr. Miles. It's Dr. Jaw and Dr. Zellman.
Never heard of either one of them, so I'm not going to worry about it. I don't want you to worry about it either.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. We might get an error message because the titles of the variables can only be 8 letters. That's a weird drawback. But oh, here it is right here. Okay. Watch this. This is your model. DV is POS. IV is FOD. Your suspected mediator moderator is professor. So here's your first model. It is significant. We already knew that. Here's the main thing you're looking at. This interaction between the moderator and the predictor is significant.
Okay.
Which means it is a moderator. And then it goes down here and it shows you the different levels, right? So And it's just like the split file. It says that the first profession, which was medical, was significant, and the second one was not.
Okay.
So I got to figure out how to write this stuff up. Right there it is, right there. So, all right. So remember 0.003. Okay, so okay, the page output did verify that profession was in fact acting as a moderator between pod and pos. And the p-value, we'll just put that in there. P. All right, so let's back. I need to back up a little bit because we're saying everything's significant, but this is only if the original, if this is originally thing was, did we run? Hold on. No. Yeah, this one. Okay, we did that. Okay. Right. This is just between FOD and POS. There was a significant correlation, regression, et cetera, with the R squared. Okay, the split file was used. All right, so the split file, we did the split file. This one is the split file, right? According to the split file, there was a difference. Okay, the Hay process agrees with that. Hayes output did verify that profession was in fact acting as a moderator between. Okay, so that's good. So let's do this. We're going to go to analyze. We're going to go to general linear model. We're going to go to univariato. The DV is POS. The grouping variable is profession. And then we're going to throw in FOD to see if it is a covariate. Now, it should not be a covariate.
Okay.
I can predict that right now because a covariate affects everybody the same way. But it's not going to affect because the mental guys and the medical guys do not see eye to eye on this. Okay, so there should be no, this should not come out as a moderator. I'm sorry, as a covariate. And again, you're going to put this in. You know, you were curious about the relationship, so this is what you did.
Mm-hmm.
That's not right. And again, if somebody asks you about this, you're going to say, you know what, you thought it was your duty to research this stuff as far as you could and, you know, identify any kind of moderators, mediators, covariates, et cetera, et cetera. So here's the covariate test. There's one, there's two, and so you look at FOD. Son of a bitch.
Stop.
Oh, wait, I didn't. Oh, I split the file. Oh, shit. I split the file.
Okay.
I forgot to unsplit the file. I keep forgetting. God dang it. Okay, so hold on. You didn't hear me cuss, right?
Is that bad if you didn't? Wait. Why is it bad that you didn't undo the split file?
Because we got one test for the medical and we got one test for the mental, and we already know.
Oh,
We
okay.
already know that the relationship is for the medicals only and not the mentals. Okay, so let's just get rid of this.
But is it bad to say that FODD acts as a moderate or covariate to only the medical versus mental health?
Well, it's basically the same thing as what you already said.
Oh,
right? If it's a moderator, it's only working for one level of profession, not the other one. So,
but is that something you should still mention in the dissertation. Like, this is so important that it acts like this in the profession, but not here. Because the profession overall acts as the moderator, actually the main moderator. This would only be fair if it was specifically medical.
And you might be able to put that in there, but just remember, the relationship between FOD and POS is only for the medical doctors, period. It's not for the mental heads, okay? There is no relationship between the mental heads.
Okay.
Between
You're right,
FOD,
right. It wasn't significant. I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right, so now you should take up smoking.
I should. Dear Lord. I might.
My 40-year-old son was vaping for a while. I'm a bad attitude. He smokes, and he quit smoking, and he vaped for about 6 months, and he went back to cigarettes. He goes, that vaping shit. Okay, back to work. Analyze general linear model. So again, my prediction is it will not be a covariate. Don't be a covariate. Don't be a covariate. Don't be a covariate. No. Shit again.
Wait, why is that bad that it's a covariate?
Because that means it's affecting. All right, I'm going to show you why.
Okay.
We're going to do a graph. We're going to do a legacy. We're going to do a scatter plot. We're going to graph as a scatter plot, physician-assisted fear of death, and we're going to split it by profession.
Okay.
Yeah. So we should get 2 lines, and this is saying that those lines are going to be pretty much parallel.
Okay.
Can you see the 2 lines in there? Neither can I. We're going to double click. And I think I know where the problem's coming from. Is the data is a mess, right? You got all those people with 25s in the medical side, which I've always thought kind of weird. No, this proves that they're not.
What do you mean?
These lines should be parallel.
So it proves that they're not what?
This proves that they are, that FOD is not a covariate between the medical and the mental guys when it comes to the differences in POS. It's just that this is just getting out of hand here. This is ugly.
But I don't understand how that, like, what that means with like their relationship.
So a covariate, so let's say you wanted to see if there was a significant difference in POS scores between the medical and the mental, which we did with a t-test, right? So there might be something else that could be affecting what's going on there. And if you can find something.
That's why they wanted us to control for religion and everything, I think.
All right, so there's another mistake. You can't control for a categorical variable.
I know, but they
People
just
keep saying that. I tell them
that might have been why this is so messed up, because there is, like, I mean, religion is a huge reason. It affects everything. It affects fear of death and your perspectives on physician-assisted dying.
I'm sure it does.
But would that affect this or no? Or should
I'm sure it would.
Okay.
Right, because you get real religious people. They're not going to say, they're not going to vote for you. We they don't fear death because there's a better life on the other side, and they don't believe in suicide. So yeah, they're going to put way down on those things based on if they're real religious or not. So, but now I'm going to.
What does this mean?
This means, okay, so let me. Okay, so according to the graph below, fear of death, is not a covariate between the professions and us. Again, I'm going to mark this as a different one. I don't know where you want to put this thing.
Oh, God.
Now this is the part that's really freaking me out here, because even though the graph says no, this thing says yes.
So what does that mean?
I don't know. FOD. It has to be because the data isn't normal. I mean, it's worse than not normal. You got too many people stacked up on that 25 thing. I'm pretty sure that's what's causing everything. So let's take a deep breath. Let's just back it up. Let's just see if we can't answer those questions. It'll make them happy. The higher the profession's FOD levels are, the more supportive that profession will be. See, I don't even understand this question. It's not a statistics. It's not in statistics format yet.
Okay.
So say it in another way.
It's basically like if you compare the two professions, right? And you're like, hey, I really noticed that, for example, medicals have a higher FODD level than the mental health. So you would assume with that, if there's like this difference, then they should also technically be more like also have a higher level for acceptance of PAS than the other one. Like it should all be like positively correlated, and there should like not only be a difference, but that difference actually follows through, if that makes sense.
Hold on to your hat there, girl. Okay, we're gonna run a t-test right now.
Okay.
You're gonna get through this. Just relax. So we're gonna do both of them, FOD and PAS, right? PAS. And we're gonna check for profession. That's gonna be our groups, right? 1s and 2s. So this says that there was a significant difference in fear of death for FOD. And we'll see who the highest is. The medical professions are significantly higher than the mentals. And it's the same for suicide.
Okay. So,
right?
Yeah.
It's higher for the meds. So there is a significant difference. So in other words, your medical professionals have a much higher fear of death. They have a much higher physician-assisted suicide.
Okay. That's literally it.
Boom. Should we?
I know, but it's a t-test, and they're gonna be like.
No, everybody starts out with a t-test. If you got two groups, you're going to start out with a t-test. So here, let's put that in there too. Again, we're going to drown them with material here.
Okay. Well, it's technically not a t-test, though, right? Do we still have to do the Man-Whitney for this?
Oh, you're right. Hold on. Let's just double check. So they like the means, even though we do a Man-Whitney U. Just double check on that, but he is. So fear of dying, yeah, they're both significantly different, and it's the same thing. Okay. So here, let's put this one in there. The higher, okay, so I'm just going to separate all these things out for you.
Okay.
I always use plus signs as a change of pace there. So what was question number 1?
Question number 1 was just simply how do they differ? Like the profession and PAS. Like FODD is not involved.
Okay, so we just proved that with this test.
Yeah.
And we proved number 2 with the test.
And
a spot a mediator towards PAS, that's worded wrong.
Oh, well, this is, I think you're looking at the original. Go down. Oh, wait, sorry, the research questions. Yeah, I think no, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, those are just the research questions. So, I mean, they'll be answered by just all the hypotheses.
Okay, and so what I just did, I think we did this already, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me put those tables down in here. right? There's those, and there's those horrible numbers. And again, even though we ran a non-parametric test, everybody likes to look at the means anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if they say something, like, why did you put the means in there when you ran a non-parametric test? And you could just say, you know what? You felt that it was more important to put them in there than leave them out because, most of us do like to look at means even if the data.
Yeah. That's fair.
All right, so that answers that question. Number 2, the higher the profession's FOD levels, stop.
Mm-hmm.
So who's got the highest FOD levels?
Medical.
Good. So you're talking about the medical guys.
Yes.
The medical guys will be more supportive for POS.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yes.
And that shows in the split level,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you just agreeing with me?
Nope, because I remember doing this.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So sorry. So what do you think we should do here?
That's why I'm like so confused because I feel like I'm just more so or have anxiety with because it was basically proven through a t-test. I remember that's why I'm just like stuck on this regression thing because like I passed my proposal with them, like they wanted me to do that. And so my head's been so cemented in this like add layers to this regression to show like, hey, there's differences every single layer you add on.
Now, okay, I got a suggestion for you. Once we're done with this nightmare,
Mm-hmm.
cut out little chunks, cut out part 2 and say, look, this is what we did. Are you guys okay with that? Or, you got any kind of comments or questions or, suggestions? And they'll probably say, no, this is perfect because they don't want to get too involved.
Okay. So basically we just ran 2 Mann-Whitney U's for the 1A, 1B. And then 2, we did split file. We demi-coded everything.
Correct. Now they're going to ask you, why did you run a non-parametric test?
Because my data was not normal.
Correct. The data violated normality big time. It wasn't a little violation. It was a huge violation.
Okay.
So you had to use the non-parametric version of the t-test. That's your bulletproof.
Okay.
Number 2, right? Basically what you're saying in English is the medical people will have high FOD levels and the medical people will have high POS levels, but not the other guys. And that's basically what we did.
Okay. Wait, I'm going to add that because that's a really nice way to say that. So basically, instead of saying the higher, because I'm allowed to change my hypotheses. I think that they're just, my chair's retiring. He wants me out of here.
So say this, say if a profession has significantly higher FOD levels, they will also have significantly higher POS levels. That makes more sense to me as a statistician.
Okay. So yeah, if a profession has significantly higher FOD levels, they will also have significantly higher POS
levels. Perfect. Doom.
Got it. And so with that, it's like, well, since we found out before in the t-test that what was it? Not the t-test. Yeah, in the t-test, we found out basically that there's no significance between like mental health and what was it? PAS. There was no significance, right?
Wait.
No.
Wait.
Okay.
Are you high or something?
No, I'm trying to think. I'm like thinking how I'm going to explain this.
So there was a difference in PAS scores between the mental and the medical, right?
There was a difference, but there's no, what was it?
There was no relationship between the FOD and the POS for the mental guys. The correlation between those two was caca, was crap. So in other words, fear of death is not related to physician-assisted suicide for the mental guys, but it is for the medical.
Okay, that's weird. I wonder if it's because they're more emotionally regulated. After
you found something. That's the best part about this is you did find something. Okay, so you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. So
okay.
What did you change this to?
Number 2, the hypothesis.
Yeah.
If a profession has significantly higher FODD levels, they will also have significantly higher PAS levels.
Perfect. are high, then scores will also be something like that. Okay, I'm gonna let you clean this shit up, sir.
Okay.
Okay. And that's what you did, right? That's what we did. We proved that the relationship between FOD and POS is significant for the medical guys only,
Okay.
not for these guys,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
which is big, which is really big. You say you're going to be famous, girl, if you survive this long, you know.
I don't know about that.
All right, so what else did we did? Okay, according to the split file, the relationship was significant for the medical professions only.
Mm-hmm. Keywords.
Yes, but not for which indicates that the profession is acting as a moderator between FOD and POS, because that's the definition of a moderator. Categorical moderator is, that means for one subgroup, one level of the moderator, the relationship is good, but for the rest of them, it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what happened. So the Hayes process, was then used to double check to verify a profession was indeed a moderator between the Hayes output, but did verify that profession was in fact acting as a moderator, a significant moderator, a significant between FOD and 5.003. Boom.
So question really quick though, going back to the moderator thing. Since I know that it's like our duty to, which I still will, that's not my point. Like it's our duty to still like say, hey, like we couldn't possibly find that FODD was a moderator, but we actually instead found that like the IV, which is the profession, it does act as a moderator. Like, would you word it like that? Would you word it like through this process of trying to figure out if FODD was a moderator, we actually found that profession, the IV acted as a moderator in this relationship of these three variables?
That's perfect.
Okay.
You should write that down right now because that made plenty of sense to me.
Okay.
And then you might want to add a sentence by saying, you know what? The relationship between FOD and POS was significant for the medical guys, but not for the mental guys.
Got it. So therefore, it cannot act as a moderator.
Right. So it's acting as a moderator because it only works for one level and not the other. So
got it. Okay. So that's like ruled out. It doesn't make sense for this. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
I hope to God this recording is not lost.
Yeah. Don't worry. And you really, seriously, you tell me when you're done watching it because I'm going to delete this shit. I'm cussing on them.
Okay.
You know, making fun of
I have to
professors.
download it to my computer. Okay.
All right.
The number
Now, you want to throw one more thing at them? We could run what we call a point by serial correlation between the two. I'll just show you. It only takes a second.
Okay.
But it's one of the more harder statistics things you'll ever do in your life, and I hate it. But I'll show you how it works. So let's take FOD and POS.
Okay.
And then we're going to use profession, even though it's a categorical variable, right? You're not supposed to have categorical variables in correlations. This is how you do it. What this means is you look at the profession. So what this means is 0.192 negative. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
What that literally means is when you go from medical to mental, you can expect a 19.2% decrease in FOD scores. Same with physician and suicide. This is how you got to explain it.
Okay.
It goes, once you go from medical to mental, you can expect a 15.6% decrease in physician-assisted suicide scores.
Oh, that is, okay,
I'll put that in there too. That should make them happy.
Okay.
But they won't know what a point by serial is. Nobody does. All right, so. medical, profession to mental profession, you can expect a decrease of, what was it, 19%? Oh, I didn't put it in there. God damn. There it is. Where are you? Okay, that's this one. 19.2% in the, that's a FOD yet. A decrease of 15.6% in the as a point by cereal. And so this one down here means that FOD is not a covariate, which means it's not a. And we already knew that, right? We know that the meds and the mentals see FOD differently. They see POS differently. They got different scores. So this I don't know if you want to put that in there or not. So
Okay. No, I mean it's further support, so I would.
you could just put it in, you know, as a back in one of your appendix. Just say,
Yeah, and they can. I'd rather have more because then they could just take. I'd rather them take out things versus me add stuff. So.
Right. Here's the scatter plot between fear of death and physician assisted, and the blue is the meds, and the red is the mentals, and you can see that the relationships are just all over the goddamn place.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, in fact, this probably here. Hold on a second. Let me try to. This probably will go better up with the split file. Where do we split file that bad boy? Oh, there it is. Right there. Yeah. So we'll keep the haze separate. Yeah, okay, that goes with the split file too. Okay, that makes more sense to me. All right, we done with number 2?
Yes.
You promise?
Yes.
All right, moving on.
And then this is the weird part because now kids, which it's just, do you have kids or not? Having kids will have a direct effect on professionals' perspectives on PAS and will have indirect effects on FODD.
What's wrong with you?
This one was not me. This was actually my chair, so.
So, okay, what they're saying is indirect effects, then they're talking about a mediator.
Yeah.
So they're saying children will be a mediator.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they're saying?
Yes.
Having children will have a direct effect on the professional's perspectives on POS. We'll have indirects on FOD. Can you see the question marks forming over my head?
Yeah.
I can't even begin to say. Well, I don't even know what he's thinking.
I don't know. It's just basically if these people have kids, will that completely like ruin everything? Like, would that leave them out of the pattern? Would it completely skew everything?
Having children will have a direct effect on a professional's perspective of PAS. Okay, so let's look at that first.
Okay.
So where's the variable if they got kids or not?
It just says children. It's in the demographics, so further down.
Children.
Let's do children. Yes or no? Yes is 1, no is 2.
So first of all, we're gonna check to see if there's a significant difference. We're not gonna do that Man Whitney thing right off the bat because I'm not sure that's the way to go here. We'll just do the independent test, and we'll stick in both of those, but this time we'll switch it to chillin'. It's a 1 or 2, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
And There is a significant difference for FOD, but not for PASS.
Okay. That is weird. Because wasn't FODD, oh, only for the medical, not the mental health?
Yeah, this doesn't, okay, this has nothing to do with mental and medical.
I know this is just because they're not even in it. That's what I was saying. It's interesting that it's only for fear of death and dying, because isn't what the medical fear of death and dying actually does relate to PAS? Right? So
It does overall. Yeah, it does overall.
So you think if something that actually does affect fear of death and dying should affect the other thing as well?
So I'm done. This should probably be a moderator just like the last one, but instead of profession, it should be whether they got kids or not.
Okay. So just the same. Okay, got
And
it.
it's going to be the exact same thing. If they have kids, it's going to affect their relationship between FOD and POS.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Let's just do that real quick.
Because I was going to say, like, this is just like across the board. Like, it doesn't actually matter on profession. Like, just does having kids affect this, or could it?
Yeah.
Because I'd be interested to see if it did, then go and look into, like, that would be like the further exploratory question is then, like, you can see, like, does it depend on profession?
Exactly. All right, so we're kicking this one out.
Okay.
We're kicking in kids. Yeah, I'll be glad when I retire. You guys are okay. I love working with you guys. You guys are pretty intelligent. It's your teachers. Too many of the teachers don't know what the hell they're talking about. They really don't.
Yeah, I would be one of those teachers. So
I had one of them yell at me once, and then she got fired.
what?
She wasn't a very good stats teacher. She was some kind of psychology major. She lied about being a stats teacher, and she was on somebody's board. And it turned out that she didn't know anything about stats, and then they let her go. And I went,
oh my God.
Well, I begged them a million times, before you hire a new stats teacher, please let me give them a real baby test to make sure they can do a t-test and a ANOVA, a regression, just basic.
We
but
had
do they?
No, they don't. We had a really great stats teacher, but she left because she got hired at Facebook. Like, she wasn't a clinical psychologist. She got her PhD in research psychology, so she really knew her stats. And then go figure, she left because they can't pay.
Yeah, we have a teacher down here. She's brilliant at stats, and she was in the field. She worked for somebody for 15 years.
Oh, dang.
Like Chevrolet, some big car company, and that's all she did was process data. But she got real bored with it.
Yeah.
Then she told me she was going to quit because she can't believe how unprepared the Alliance students were. Welcome to Alliance, and it's not their fault; it's the teacher's fault. So where's kids?
You quit it, right? Yeah. Do you have children?
Where? Oh, there it is. Right there. Okay, got it. So we're going to do this the fast way. All right, again, you're looking for this interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, no, it's not significant.
Okay.
So in other words, whether these people have children or not is not acting as a moderator.
Okay.
And
across the board, like, it doesn't matter even if we see what profession.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if we see what profession. Well, it could.
Okay, can we, just to be sure?
It's split file, but let me just double check here.
Okay.
There's something missing here, and all right, question 43. There should be 2 rows.
Physician assisted?
Hold on. All right, so again, we know that POS and FOD are significantly related. That's the original thing. But when you throw in whether they got kids or not, there should be there's something missing here. There should be row 1 for people with kids and 1 row with people without kids. Let me make sure the variable isn't all messed up here. 1 is yes and 2 is no. Let me do that again. Where are you here? And have children? Question 43. 1 or no? 1, 2, model 1, 95, all about, come on board. Do it again. I don't know why it's not doing it. Maybe if it's not significant, it doesn't do it because it says it's telling you it's not significant. It's not,
Or is it because it's not split up into groups, or that has nothing to do with it?
that's a good question. You know, that's the fastest way to do it is to check the damn split file, period. Right? Let's see if it'll do it this way. Analyze. All right, split file. Let's see what happens. Nope, that didn't have anything to do with it. But I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna do just a regular regression between the two. We'll see. We'll look at the regression between these guys based on whether they have kids. We'll get one for kids and one without kids. So there's the one with kids, and it is significant. The one without kids, it is not significant. So that agreed with our t-test kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay.
So wait, the kids, if you have kids, it's significant?
The relationship between FOD and POS is significant if you have children.
Got it.
If you don't have children, there is no relationship between FOD and POS.
Oh, whoa.
Does that make sense?
That complicated things. Wait. So if someone, that's weird. I'm like trying to figure it out.
I'm going to talk to your teachers. God dang it. I have zero authority and I'll probably get yelled at for this, but I need to straighten their asses out. They're making your life miserable for no reason.
I know.
And I've never done that before, but I hate to see students suffer.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll leave it up to you. You let me know. If you want me to talk to them, I will talk to them.
Thanks.
I just say, look, I'll be honest. I say, you know what? I need clarification. I've only worked on, 1,300 of these dissertations. And the way you guys got this stuff worded, I'm sorry, I can't make heads or tails out of it. But here, let me set the record straight, right? A categorical variable cannot be a predictor.
I know. I don't know. They just want you to they just want to look fancy because their name's on it, I think.
Boy, you hit it right on the head. They don't want to look stupid. They don't want to look like they don't know what they're doing. So they throw out all these incredible things that make no sense.
I know, and then they don't even help you with it, and so then you cry.
And then you cry. So the short answer here is having kids is acting as a moderator. So, I know what you should do. Send in the question 2, and just send them everything that we did.
Okay.
And just say, do you favor one of these over any of the others?
Okay.
And then once, if they're going to say, oh yeah, we really like this one, do it this way. Then we'll do the other one this way because this one is the same thing. No. It's going to be the exact same thing with this.
Wait, as the children?
As the profession. Yeah, the children
okay.
are going to be the same thing as the profession. It's going to be
but that's what I mean, though. That's why I think they originally wanted like some format of like, I know it's impossible, but a format of regression to show like, we found all of this. Now let's add on an added layer of children. Because would children change all of this?
Change it how?
Just would it alter any of the relationships between the variables?
It would.
So literally, like that's like the cherry on top is children. It's like the profession literally is a moderator for these relationships, right?
Oh, I just had a brilliant idea. Let me do this one first.
Okay, go for it.
So this one is still the same. We know that. Was used in the simple regression model. I forgot to mention what we split up here. Hold on a second. The split file function was used to split the profession variable into 2 separate groups and just see if there's a significant difference between based on profession. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing down here. The split file function was used to split the variable, children variable, to see if there was a significant difference in a simple based on whether a subject had children or not. And yeah, that's the same thing, and it was. Okay, so we're gonna do this.
But that was like the same thing on top of all three variables versus the profession was just on top of the two variables. So it built.
Say that again.
So when you go back to the profession, that was basically showing that there's a moderator, like basically you put a moderator on top of two variables, right? To see like, does this kind of like puppet the relationship?
Yeah.
And that was proven yes. And then when you added children, it's technically three variables. And then like the moderator on top is children.
Well,
So it is showing like the total relationship is also moderated by children, but only in, I think the area.
You got to be careful. You really don't want to put in two categorical variables into the same regression. You can. I've never done it.
Okay.
But okay, according to the split between was significant for the subjects with children, right? And that would be with children, and oh my God, the p-value is really small. Yep. But not for those without children. Without children. If you don't have children, you never get grandkids. I'm telling you, grandkids are the best. The best.
No, I wish I could skip past the children part and just.
Yeah, me too, but it's kind of late. Which means that children is acting as a moderator. So it's basically the same thing as the other one.
Okay, so I have a question when you're done though.
Yes.
You said like be careful adding that in a regression model. Why is that?
Because most people can't handle one categorical variable in a regression model. It's called dummy coding.
Yeah.
I swear to Buddha, I've seen it about 50 or 60 times, and it's only been done once properly.
Really?
So to dummy code, let me give you a quick example. Let's use ethnicity.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you told me this last time though, but didn't we dummy code?
We dummy coded to prove that it was acting as a moderator. That's the old-fashioned way. We don't do that anymore. We use the Hayes process. It's much faster.
Okay, so is that okay if I do mention that we do? Is it like shunned?
Just say it's way over everybody's head. I mean, you can put in why write up a paper that nobody's going to understand. Okay.
He's making me.
But now you need to understand it before it leaves your hands. You need to understand the stuff.
Yeah.
Because people down the road are going to be writing you letters and saying, you know what? Why did you do it this, and you're going to say, oh, because this, and this. So.
Fair. So basically, you're saying that you shouldn't. Because that's okay. So when I'm formatting this, because I am literally doing the same model, like, right, the moderator model with a different variable. So I should make those like dead separate versus saying it's all in like the same.
Correct. Exactly. Two separate relations. Because whether they're in the medical or the mental has nothing to do with whether they have kids or not, right? They're not related. They're not.
That was literally like, okay, we're going to erase the profession. We're just going to look to see if children amongst these two professions like actually acts as a moderator. And then future researchers can look into this if they want, like that kind of spiel.
Yeah. Now watch, I'm going to show you something real cool.
Okay.
We're going to do a mixed ANOVA.
Mm-hmm.
Going to go to general in your model.
Mhm.
Univariate, hold on a second. Grandma's right there. I knew it. The kids are in the cold tub and just having a lot of fun, and I'm totally jealous. Okay. Okay, so we're going to let's look at FOD first.
Okay.
FOD. Where'd FOD go? Oh, there's FOD. Boom. So we're going to look at profession and we're going to look at kids. So this is going to show us if there's any interaction between medical and mental and kids or no kids
Mhm.
when it comes to the fear of death and dying. And there's going to be some differences in there. I can tell you that right now.
Okay.
And I forgot to unsplit file.
Oh.
No. But this is what I love about SPSS. You can knock this shit out in about a minute.
Yeah, that's fair.
General, there you go, univariate. Okay, so fear of death, and there's your 2, and I think we already got those. Oh yeah, we need to do the plots. So if these plots cross, that means that there's going to be a significant interaction. All right, here we go. So we got 193 meds, 132 mentals. You got 231 with kids, 94 that were not kids, which is good. So I'm looking at all these means right here.
Mhm.
These are the FOD scores. And it looks like the highest by far is medical with kids.
Okay.
So it kind of makes sense. They're
Yeah.
the ones that had the highest fear of death scores anyway. And it looks like even if they have kids, it makes it even higher. So the medical professional with kids have the highest fear of death scores.
That is interesting because that actually goes against a theory in my dissertation.
Yeah, well, your data says something else here. Okay, so now we're going to keep on going. So here is, so again, there's a significant difference in FOD scores overall. We already knew that, okay?
Mhm.
Never look at the intercept. Profession. This says that there's a difference in FOD scores based on profession. So in other words, a main effective profession. This is kids. This says there's a significant difference in FOD scores based on kids.
Okay.
There is no interaction. That's what this says.
Meaning?
Meaning that it doesn't matter if a person's a medical or a mental, or if they have kids or not when it comes to the FOD scores. So there is no interaction. You know how we thought that if they were medical and had kids, they would be significantly higher? That's not true.
Okay, so kids actually don't change
They do, but not, so the kid thing and the medical, the profession thing they're not related in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
So medical people with kids will not have significantly higher than medical people without kids. That's not it. That's not the issue. Okay. So now I'm going to do POS.
Got it. So kids don't affect that significantly.
Now be careful, because it does show there's a significant difference between the FOS, the FODs and the POS scores, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, those with kids have higher scores, right?
So what? Crap.
I already forgot which is which. Okay, well, we'll go back. Hold on.
Okay.
So now I'm going to do the POS.
Oh, I think my screen's frozen.
And then again, here's the means. So medical professionals without kids have the lowest scores. But again, that doesn't mean they're significant. Let's go to here first. All right, so again, we know there's a significant difference in POS scores already. Now this one says that there's no significant difference between the profession and POS scores. And there's no significant difference in POS scores based on whether they have kids or not. But there is an interaction. Holy shit moly, you found something again. So this one says there's no main effect of profession. In other words, profession has nothing to do with their POS scores. Whether they have kids or not has nothing to do with their POS scores. But this one says there's an interaction between the two that does have something to do with the POS scores. So we have to go back up to the means here. And yep, it's this one right here. medical professionals that do not have children have the lowest physician's assisted suicide scores.
Out of like both of those groups.
So actually you got 4 groups. You got
Yeah.
medical with children, medical without children. You got mental with children, mental without children. So that group that's the medical professional, I take it back.
I was going to say mental health.
It's mental health with children have the lowest suicide scores.
Oh, like they're against physician-assisted suicide.
Correct.
What?
Significantly.
This is going to be horrible writing this up, like in my discussion section, because this is like actually again. Okay, got it.
You got a lot to write about, yeah. So this is weird. This one caught me by surprise. So, but only with the pause, only with the suicide thing.
Okay, that's weird.
The only thing, so you ran a 2x2 factorial ANOVA,
Mhm.
and the only group that showed a significant difference between the rest of the group was the mental professionals with children. Their pause scores was 11.65, which was significantly lower than the other groups. Probably not the medical professions. The rates, that one's 12.7. That's all
Mhm.
point.
Okay.
But yeah, you found a ton of stuff.
Because that's like where I'm confused though, is that does it to you, I guess your opinion, like do you feel like before the children were added in, it was like this nice like flowed scale of like, oh, this is that, and then you like threw children in the bunch and it just messed everything up?
Yeah, but that's what you're supposed to do, right? You got
fair.
the data. You
Well,
put the question in there for a reason. Does
yeah.
having children affect? And then you found out it does. It does,
Yeah.
but only for the mental group, not for the medical group. Right? Those
So-
medical guys are hardcore. I can tell right off the bat. I mean, they're used to death and dying. They like to kill people. So.
When I'm writing this up, that's interesting because it's basically like, hey, like having kids didn't really affect it. There's like interaction. There are interactions. Yeah. There's interaction, I think.
Right,
But, like-
between profession and children, but
Mhm.
only for the pause, only for the physician of suicide, not for the fear of death.
Oh, the fear of death was not even touched. It was
Nope.
nothing happened.
Right, fear of death, there was no interaction between profession and kids. There was
Yeah,
nothing
there's no
going on.
interaction. Basically, nothing happened. Like having kids did not really significantly affect either way.
For
correct?
FOD, right, for the FOD
Yeah.
guys, nothing. Had no
But-
effect.
Got it. But for PAS, it's the mental health just significantly went lower.
The mental health with kids,
With kids, sorry, mental health with kids went significantly lower.
right. And then there's your proof right there.
That is weird. Oh, this is gonna be great trying to explain that. I have no idea.
No, 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 no.
Okay, cool. And so that's basically number 3. So having children will have a direct effect on professional's perspective. So basically it will have a direct, or having children does not have a direct effect.
So that direct effect, indirect stuff, he's talking about a mediator.
Got it. So how can I reword this?
So
Is
okay,
it
so it's something about children, right? That's
Yeah.
number one. It's got to be about children.
Yeah.
So I would say something like,
Like having children.
I would say having children will affect, drop that a direct part,
Hmm.
will affect the professionals' perspectives on PAS and FOD.
Oh, simple as that.
Yeah,
Okay.
get rid of the direct effects and the indirect effects. Now what we did was, okay, so you got a couple things. Wait, no. Try this. Having children will have an effect on the relationship between PAS and FODD. So having children will affect the relationship between FOD and POS. It should be FOD and POS, not POS and FOD, right? You always list your predictor first.
Mhm. Okay.
And that makes it just like the number 2, right?
Okay. It's just now it's going to be separate with children. Like, does this affect anything?
Correct. So children is a moderator. Now that one we just did Let me write that up for you real quick. You're going to say a 2 by 2 factorial ANOVA indicated that there was a main effect of, let me get that shit in here. Where'd you go? All right, so here's the first one. And this one. E. Okay. Right. This shows no interaction, right? They're almost parallel.
Mm-hmm. And that's just for FODD.
Yeah, this is for pause, right?
Oh, that's for pause.
Pause had no.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
All right, so here we go. So 2 by 2 factorial ANOVA indicated that there was a main effect of profession.
So there can be an effect, but not an interaction.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
2 by 2 factorial ANOVA. You should let's okay. So 2 indicated that there was a main effect of profession on the FOD scores, and then we do this. This is FOD, right? So it's degrees of freedom. So it's 1, 321 F 1, 321 close parentheses equals. So that's this guy right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 9.67, 9.67, comma P equals 0.002 with an effect size of 0.029. Where'd you go? Indicated there was a main effect. Okay. There was also a main effect of children. Let me do this, do the same thing. Grab the numbers. So children was this one. So it's 1, 321. That's the same. So 4.88028. 4.88. 0.028 with an effect size of 0.15. Not very strong, but strong enough. Right? Significant. Not very strong, but strong enough. Okay. There was no significant interaction between profession and we gotta put that in here too. Right, this is what they want to see. They want to see all this APA formatting, the results of the.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so interaction was this one. So 1, comma, same thing, and the F was 0.89. The sig was terrible. 0.89. 0.89, 0.89. 0.89, and that was 0.346. Okay. So in other words, right? In other words, there was a significant difference. Significant. You know, I spell that thing a million times a day and I still can't spell it. And FOD scores between the professions and if the subject had children or not, but there was wait, I don't want to say interaction. I already said interaction, right? Okay, but pause scores wait, that's just bad English. Hold on a second. All right, in other words, there was a significant difference in FOD scores between professions and if the subject had children or not, but there was no damn it, my brain just kind of shut down here. Okay, I'm just going to put, but there was no interaction between the IDs, the independent variables. That sounds smart. Okay. Now let's do the next one. I'm just going to copy and paste. We're going to change FOD for POS. And let me get this stuff. And what's our DV here? Our DV, sphere of depth.
Mm-hmm.
And there's POS. So there's the means. So we want the means. We want the ANOVA table, and we want the graph. Okay, so 2 by 2 factorial. It was, yeah, so it's going to be 3. No, it's going to be profession 1, comma, that's still the same. So your F is 1.9. Oh, okay, hold on. So the F is 5.903, comma. Wait a minute, something's not right here.
Okay.
Oh, I got the wrong number. Hold on a second. 321 and 5.90, 5.90, 5.90 with the p-value of 0.001. Factorial indicated there was a significant difference. Okay, indicated that there was a significant difference. Somewhere in the POS scores between the groups. right, so that's when we put this to the hell was that? Hold on a second. So let me go up real quick to this one. Fix this one. It should be 3. Okay. And the P was 0.01 with an effect size of, where'd you go? 0.052, 0.052, 0.052. So you're gonna say there was no main effect of children. So children was Q43, so that would be damn. You got an F of 0.001. I've never seen that before. That's the smallest F possible, by the way. So that comes out to be, right, we just call it 0.01. And P is 0.975 or something ridiculous. Yep, 975.
It wouldn't be 0.001?
Yeah, we should put that in here. We looked and find it out. But APA formatting is, for some reason, all test statistics go to 2 place values. All P values go to 3.
Oh, got it. So you wouldn't put 0.00?
Yeah, we'll let them fight it out. So we don't care if it's not significant. We don't care about the effect size.
Okay.
Now I need to put the profession in here real quick. And it's going to look just like this one. Okay. There's no main effect of profession. That means no difference, no significant difference. So it should be, there's the profession. So it's 1,321, and it's 1.96, 1.96, 1.96. And the p-value was 163. Now, if these guys were good statisticians, they would say, you know what, you found something here, you should probably investigate another. So, but there was, this is the interesting part, okay. But there was a significant interaction between profession and children. And we do this, that's this guy, that's the one with the star in it. So 9.46, 9.46, 9.46, 9.46. With a p-value of 0.002, right? 0.002, okay. In other words, there was a significant, okay, we don't need that. We're just going to say simple effects indicated. So a simple effect is where you look at the square, right? We're just simply looking at, I'm just going to state the obvious. Simple effects indicated that the mental professionals with children had a significantly lower PAS score than the other groups. And they might want you to put in a table or something, but let's put in the mean and the standard deviation. That's these guys right there. Well, I'll put that right in there. So 11.65. Standard deviation equals 5.73. Simple effects indicated that the mental professionals with children had a significantly lower. Okay. All right, I think you got enough to drive them crazy with. So do you know what to do?
Yes.
Tell me.
With this, what do you mean?
Pretend I'm one of your teachers.
No. What do you want me to explain?
Just say, look, you've been working with the tutoring guy down in San Diego. Perhaps you've heard of him.
Basically, I can't do anything you guys wanted me to do.
Just, try to be polite and honest and everything. Just say you were working with the tutoring guy down in San Diego. I like to throw my name around. And unfortunately, I'm very well known. Unless your teachers are new. If they're new, they've never heard of me. But if it floats back up to their dean or something, I know all the deans. So.
Basically just go over everything. You can't do hierarchical because there's nominal categorical variables, so you can't do that.
Forget all the bullshit statistic stuff. What you found out was the relationship between POS and FOD and POS is significant, regardless of children, regardless of profession. Got it?
Yes.
Part 2, it's only significant for medical, not for mental. Okay.
Yeah.
Part 3, the relationship between POS and FOD is only significant for medical, not for mental. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a significant difference in the POS scores based on medical and mental. There's a significant difference in FOD scores based on mental and medical. And the medical guys are the highest ones, right? Yes. Which was exactly of the opposite. Now, you're going to go back down and switch for children. You found out that there was a significant difference between those guys that had kids when it comes to the relationship. It's the same thing. It's a repeat. The people with kids had a significantly, I already forgot which is which.
The mental health with children had lower, what was it, F scores? Or no, wait, what scores?
Yeah, we split it, so here's the regression, right? So it was significant. The relationship between FOD and FOS was significant only for those guys that had kids, not for those that didn't have kids. So it was significant for the medical guys, the relationship between FOD and FOS, significant for the medical guys and those people that had children. But it's funny, there was no interaction.
Which is weird.
Between the medical guys and with children.
Which I don't get that, but.
But there might have been because look at this. Those guys with kids is right here.
Okay.
That's probably significant as well.
Okay.
So the medical profession without kids was kind of low. It's probably significant, but the mental profession with kids was the lowest.
Yes.
So normally you just go to either the lowest or the highest, right? You don't need all that crap in the middle. So.
Okay.
Have you had enough for one day?
Oh, this is a lot, but thank you. No, because I was more lost before we started this, so this helped a crap ton. So thank you.
So, okay, before you contact anybody, write it out in your own hand what you found out. Forget about all the statistic bingo, right?
Got it.
The relationship is strong between the meds, but not for the meds. It's strong for those with kids, but not with those kids. You found that weird-ass interaction that mental people with kids had a significantly lower POS score than everybody else. So that's it in a nutshell, right? So
yeah.
And then once you get their blessing, then you start adding in all this other stuff.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to send you everything.
Thank you.
Let me stop this recording. It's going to be a mile long. So I'm